Hey guys, well, since it's the end of 2015, I thought I'd do my end of the year video, the best horror movies of 2015. I did one for 2014 and 2013, so it's a tradition to do one for 2015. Well, this year's horror movies have been a bit Means it was just a decent year for horror movies. It wasn't really that special of a year for horror movies. I mean, like, I've seen a couple I didn't like. I've seen The Gallows. Really did not like that movie. I mean, it was a movie that had terrible scares, no suspense, and a terrible ending too. I also saw The Vatican Tapes, and I didn't really like that movie either. I mean, it was just all out boring. The only thing that was good was basically the ending of that movie. That was just it. There were some horror movies that I actually thought were okay. I mean, I didn't mind them. Like, I saw The Lazarus Effect. I didn't mind that movie. I mean, like, it was okay. I'm not saying I liked it. I just, I just didn't, like, think it was a bad movie. And I even saw Area 51. And I didn't mind that movie either. But again, I'm not saying I liked it either. I just thought it was just okay. The Visit I didn't even see, mainly because I hated M. Night Shyamalan and everything he makes. I mean, I just basically gave up watching his movies after seeing Signs. Yes, I hated the movie Signs. I know a lot of people liked that movie, but personally, I hated that movie. I even hated The Sixth Sense, which I know a lot of people also like to. I mean, if you like those two movies, that's fine. I just personally hated those two movies and just hated him and gave up on him after those movies. And so never watched any movie made by him ever since. And was another thing. I also just want to since in my other movies, like after I showed my Blu-rays of the best horror movies, I only got about 9 in this one over here. So it's not gonna be that big of a list, but it's mainly because like some of the movies that are gonna be listed aren't on Blu-ray yet. So and since at the end of my 2013 and my 2014 list, I just named those ones I don't own at the end. So I'll be doing that first because like the one that I think is the best horror movie of 2015, I do own on Blu-ray. So I'm going to show that one at the end of this video. And it's a movie that I think is going to get some mixed opinions on. But personally, I liked that movie. But so let's just get started with these whole things. But I also want to mention there's this movie that's not going to be on my list, but it's a good movie though. That's The Gift. So this was a good movie, but it's not going to be on my list because I didn't consider this to be a horror movie. It was actually a thriller. I mean, there was a couple of jump scares. There was some pretty cool, creepy atmosphere. But to me, it wasn't really a horror movie. But it was a good movie. But you're probably going to think, then why you mentioned this movie if you don't think it's a horror movie? Well, I'm mentioning this because I did see some people's list of their best horror movies of 2015. They added this on it. But to me, this just wasn't a horror movie. But if I did consider this to be a horror movie, it would be on this list. It would probably be number 3 or number 2. Not number 1, though. That's at the end of this video. And I also want to mention these two movies, which were like two self-aware comedy horror movies. They also aren't going to be on my list because of that reason. Like, these are like, horror movies that aren't supposed to be taken seriously. Hence these two movies, Wolf Cop and Army of Frankenstein. It's like, these two were just very fun movies, very cheesy in a good way though. Very over the top, like, just ridiculous movies that knew that they were ridiculous and took advantage of it. So definitely check these two movies out as well. Well, let's just start like on this list. So I'm gonna name the ones that I don't own. So one there's Green Inferno. That'd be on this list. That's a good movie, a very good cannibal movie. It was like, just good to see Eli Roth come back and direct another horror movie. He hasn't directed a horror movie since he made Hostel 2. And so this was actually a better movie than Hostel 2. It's not Eli Roth's best movie, but it's definitely like, a good one though. Pretty good tribute to Cannibal Holocaust. Pretty over the top gory movie. So I liked that movie a lot. another one was Crimson Peak. That was also a good movie, made by a very brilliant director, Guillermo del Toro. I really liked the atmosphere in that movie. I really liked the tribute to the Hammer movies as well, naming like the characters after Peter Cushing, which I really liked. I liked also like the sets that they built. Didn't really use much CGI in that movie. I liked how they mostly used practical effects. I thought like the actors did very good jobs. I really liked, of course, like the last 20 minutes of that movie was like very intense. I liked the gothic tone of that movie as well. So that was a good movie as well. Another one I also want to name is Tales of Halloween. Like that's a good movie as well. Like it was no Trick or Treat, I'll say that though. But the reason why I'm bringing that up because it was like a movie just like that. A movie that was like that was an anthology movie that really had that Halloween look to it. And it was also pretty funny too. I mean, I liked that movie a lot. And another one, I want to also name. This is one that that got a lot of hate. But after I saw it like a pre-screening of it the day before it came out, and that's Sinister 2. I mean, that one I really liked a lot. I didn't really understand like what was so bad about it. I had a feeling maybe the reason why people didn't like it was because of them going like deeper into Bagul's story, because Bagul was barely in the first movie, so I guess maybe people just feel like the less you know the better. But I also really like the Children of the Corn feel to it, and so yeah, I liked that movie. I didn't mind that movie either. And so let's get started on the Blu-rays now. So what I'm actually gonna show, this is actually a movie that I reviewed last. And that's I Spit on Your Grave 3, Vengeance is Mine. Like this one was actually really good. I mean, I liked this one more than I Spit on Your Grave 2. I liked how the girl from the first movie came back, Sarah Butler. I liked how she reprised her role. I mean, I really liked the death scenes, how like over the top, how vicious she was. So yeah, this was pretty good. Another one I got is The Final Girls. Now I really had fun watching this one. This one to me was a mix of Friday 13th meets The Last Action Hero. Basically these kids who get trapped in this 80s slasher movie. I really liked how the characters were like saying like oh no, we're trapped in a movie. I really liked also how they played the Friday 13th music, that ch-ch-ch, ha ha ha, and the characters were like oh no, you hear that? It's Billy. He's coming to get us. I did like, of course, the mask as well. Mask is actually a pretty original design looking, and I liked how the characters in the movie that they're trapped in were acting very over the top, like just like a 80s slasher movie. It didn't bother me that it was PG-13 either, because when you really think about it, when slasher movies were made in the 80s, they had to like tone down the violence because the MPAA were going to give them an X rating. So they were paying tribute to that stuff. I mean, I really like the tributes of the 80s slasher movies. Okay. And another one is Christmas Horror Story. I wanted to do a review on this movie, but never got around to it because I was just very busy for the past couple of weeks. Like, this was a very good anthology horror movie. I mean, I really liked stuff like the Changeling, the Krampus story, also Santa Claus fighting Krampus, like axes and chains, spears. I mean, I really liked the death scenes well. I also liked how William Shatner had a small role in this movie. I also did like how they didn't use that much CGI in the movie, only used CGI when they needed to. So I liked how they mostly used practical effects. So definitely check this movie out. Well, speaking of which, looking at this actually makes me realize I actually forgot to mention another horror movie before I showed these, and that's one is, of course, Krampus. Another good horror movie. I mean, I really liked how in that Krampus movie we got basically a backstory on Krampus. I really liked the story of like why Krampus is invading this family. I won't go that much into details with that, just for people who haven't seen that movie. I also really liked the killer gingerbread men, of all that laughing, that noise. All the killer toys were pretty cool. And same thing as well, I liked how they mostly used practical effects as well, and only used CGI when they needed it. So that Krampus movie was very fun. Alright, back to the Blu-rays. Another one, Tremors 5, Bloodlines. Another good addition to the Tremors series. I liked how, of course, Michael Gross reprised his role as Burt Gummer. And Jamie Kennedy, like, he was pretty good in this movie, although he was at times a little annoying. Only downfall was, like, I didn't really like that they mainly just used CGI for the creatures in this one. But I did like the designs of the creatures, so I liked all that. And I did hear that they're going to be doing like a new Tremor show with Kevin Bacon, so I look forward to that. And this one, I could get some backlash over for liking this one, because like this is a movie that unfortunately bombed at the box office, was hated by a lot of people. But personally, I did like this movie, but the original movie was better. So that's so you don't think I'm crazy or anything like that. The original movie is better, but I just thought this one was fun, and of course is the remake of Poltergeist. Well, this movie wasn't really scary, but it was entertaining. That's the reason why I put this on my list, because it was an entertaining movie, nonetheless. I mean, I thought, what's his name? Sam Rockwell was pretty good in this movie, and I also did like Jared Harris. Like, he was pretty good in this movie. There was times he was pretty funny too, and I really liked the whole idea of like the ghosts getting into like the modern day electronic stuff. I really liked all that stuff. I mean, I also did like the ending of this movie. Like, the ending was pretty intense. And like, I saw this movie in 3D. I mean, 3D was pretty good. I mean, it just wasn't really scary, though. That's like the downfall with this one. And some acting was pretty bad, but there was some acting that was pretty good, though. And there was some CGI stuff. I mean, like, since they mainly relied on CGI, there was some CGI that was good, some CGI that was not so good. The two kids in this movie were actually pretty good actors, so give them credit on that. So overall, I enjoyed this movie. And here's another one. This one didn't really get that well noticed, though, so... And it's this one, We Are Still Here. Now, this was pretty good atmospheric horror movie. It had some very good creepy imagery and some pretty disturbing images. It was pretty slow, though, I'm gonna say that. I mean, but it had some pretty good acting and pretty good tension as well. I mean, I really liked the last like 20 minutes of this movie. I mean, not too much I can say about this movie. I mean, like, I do admit it was kind of boring at times, kind of slow, but I really liked the tension, I really liked the creepy imagery. So overall, it was a good movie. And another one is Insidious Chapter 3. Now, this was a prequel to the first Insidious movie, basically showing Lin Shaye's character, how she meets the two other characters from the first movie. I mean, and it was also like about this girl whose mother passed away, and so Lin Shaye's trying to like make contact with her mother, but instead like makes contact with this demon, this guy that can't breathe, has like this oxygen mask on his nose and mouth. I mean, it was a pretty creepy movie. I mean, like, there was times I actually got the creeps of this movie. I mean, I didn't really find the second one too scary. I mean, the second one was good. I didn't find it as scary as this one did. Like, I liked this one more than the second movie. And like I really liked the setups to like the first movie, like the foreshadowings that happened in the first movie. So yeah, this was a pretty good movie, pretty good prequel, good addition to the Insidious series. All right, and another one. This one I could probably get some backlash over too, and that one is Unfriended. So like, I actually remember when I saw this movie in the theater, there was this guy right behind me. As soon as this movie ended, he shouted, "That was the worst movie ever made!" And like, you know, and I was like thinking, I don't know, I liked it. I mean, I liked how this movie took place on Skype. Like, I liked the entire movie took place on Skype. I'm guessing that's probably one reason why people hated the movie. They felt it was too cheaply filmed. But I mean, I liked also the premise of this movie about all these friends just all on Skype on the anniversary of this girl that was killed. But then all of a sudden, that girl that was killed, like her account, like appears on the Skype, and they're like wondering is like, you know, is she back, or is this like some kind of master hacker? And I also did like the death scenes were like, you know, pretty graphic, pretty brutal. I liked also how like the characters weren't like in control of their motor skills, like when they were getting killed. So I liked that whole thing. And I kind of did like how it was basically like a this had this message like, you know, that you shouldn't bully people, and which actually I like because I was bullied a lot when I was a kid. So yeah, I liked this movie. Okay, so this is the number one movie coming right up, and like I said, this one could get some mixed opinions. Like, I saw this movie in the theater. At first, I didn't really know what to think of, but then the movie grew on me. Although my friend that I saw it with hated it, and there's also a couple people I know who also hated it. But there's also some people I know who liked it. And so, without further ado, I'm presenting the number one best horror movie of 2015, and that is, drumroll please, ta-da, It Follows. So, this was a pretty good original horror movie. I mean, basically about this STD creature, like, you know, this kid is carrying this STD creature, and then like he has this one night stand with this girl, and he passes it on to her, and so then like, you know, he warns her about this creature, how it could shapeshift. It could be anybody, but it moves slow though, and so the only way for you to get rid of it is if you pass it on to someone else. Although if it kills you, it comes back to me. I liked the tone of this movie, the atmosphere. I liked the how the creature didn't have like, you know, just one look. It shapeshift to like other forms. Like there was times it shapeshift to like a little kid, to a very tall skinny guy, to an old lady. So they did some also like makeup jobs, like, you know, kind of like made the faces pale, like had some dark shadow under the eyes. They also made like the creature very strong as well. I also liked the music in this movie. It was like very 80s like. And like, I know a lot of people probably didn't like it because, like, you know, they didn't like how the creature moved very slow, so it made it kind of boring. But I thought, like, you know, that added some, like, you know, tension to it. Like, you know, will this thing like get this person, like, despite it moves very slow, but like, you know, it'll eventually come for you. Like, you know, you can run away from it, but it will eventually catch up to you no matter where you go. You can't hide from it. I also, like, you know, liked the whole fact that, like, you know, it didn't have just one form, because maybe, like, because also places that suspense that it could be anything. Maybe it could be that person standing in the corner. Maybe it could be like some random person that's, like, you know, walking right by them. So it could be anybody. I also thought, like, you know, the actors did a pretty good job at their parts. They all did pretty good performances. And like and that's probably all I gotta say for this movie. So, like, you know, you can like this movie or hate this movie. I mean, personally, I did like it. And, like, I've heard rumors that they're probably going to do some kind of a sequel to it, but I'm not really too sure how I feel about that. I mean, one thing I should also like mention I liked about this movie is that like since I said that when the boy passed it on to the main girl in this movie, like said that if it kills her, it comes back to him. So when you really think about it, you're never actually free from this thing. So like maybe if you pass this thing on to someone, then they pass it on, but then like that person gets killed, then the previous person they get killed, so then it comes all the way back to you. So when you really think about it, you're never free from this thing. So that's actually another thing I really liked about this movie. And so, I guess that's about it for this one. So, overall, it was a decent year for horror movies this year. I'm just hoping that 2016 is a better year. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing The Forest, and Before I Wake is another movie I'm looking forward to seeing. And so, that's all I gotta say. Okay, tune in next time. Bye.